What is going on, everyone? This is Eric Cuts for the Win, back with another review. It's been a while since I've sat down and reviewed a game. Just been, streaming, playing, and hopefully you guys are catching me when I'm streaming. If you haven't followed me yet, I'm on Twitch, Eric Cuts for the Win, and I've been more consistent lately, alright? So catch me there. But I did stream, the entire game of Ori and the Will of the Wisps on stream, and the whole playthrough is now on my YouTube. So if you missed that as well, check it out. You can see my life thoughts and struggles and all of that. I gotta say, and I've realized this in the past as well, but streaming platformers, especially ones that are, I guess you can argue, some of the more challenging platformers. I remember when I streamed Guacamelee 2, or the first Ori. There's been others, and streaming those kinds of games can be a struggle at times. It shouldn't be. You would think it would be easy, but it's not at times. And I think it's just because, you're trying to entertain, you're trying to talk to everyone in the chat and concentrate. And for a platformer, it can be a little bit of a challenge, more so. But nonetheless, even so, I had a great time with the game. I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts. No notes, nothing. I'm just gonna tell you guys this game is amazing. It's got some bugs on PC. That's where I played it. I played it on Steam. And there were audio bugs. I'm gonna start off with the negatives, all right? There was some audio bugs where the audio would kind of buzz as if the game freezes. It makes like this buzz sound, and it was pretty annoying, especially at the beginning. I felt like it was worse in the beginning of the game. It got better as it went, but it still happened even at the end. Towards the end of the game, it was happening. So that was an issue for me. It wasn't a deal breaker, but it was definitely annoying. Another bug, or glitch, I should say, happened to me early in the game, about an hour in. I got stuck in a room, and this is on my stream and everything. You can go watch it, my playthrough. I got stuck in a room where this door should have been opened. I opened it previously by pushing a rock onto a platform to open the door, and then once I started working my way through this area, the door was closed magically. The platform, the rock or whatever was gone. So I had to restart the whole game because I spent so much time in there trying to figure it out, thinking I missed something. And I ended up losing all my quick saves, because you do have like 10 quick saves that are kind of there for you to travel back a few minutes or so. But because I spent so much time, trying to figure it out, I lost those. I lost that time. So yeah, speaking of the quick saves and all of that, they are in this game now, the auto saves. And compared to the first one where you had to manually save it, you had to pick and choose where you're saving, where I guess people complained about that. So the developers at Moon Studios added autosave. And there's speculation that maybe this is what caused the issues and the bugs in the game, or the glitch that I experienced. I don't know for sure, but it's leading me to think so. That autosave, though, is a nice feature to have, especially in a game like this. Dying and not having to really worry about where you saved. They put you back, pretty much in the same area where you died. So that, I think, was a good addition. It just sucks that maybe it led to some of these issues in the game. But other than those two things, and occasional frame drops, damn, everything else was great. I thought this game was, it was touching. These characters, just like the first Ori, they have so much heart. They don't speak English. They speak, but in their own little languages, and they have dialogue in the game for you to read. But even so, it's like the heart of these characters, they touch you. There's times where I felt sad. There's times where I laughed at how silly something was, or charming, if that's the word you want to use. I adore the characters. I think they're cute. I think they're great to have them interact and to see how they interact, and the story itself I thought was cute, and and somewhat sad, but it had a great ending, and left me feeling good at the end. So as far as story goes, characters, charming, adorable, cute, all the words you want to say, they apply. The gameplay though, we really got to talk about, because there's a lot of different things going on compared to the first one. The first one, when I think about it and how I remember it and my playthrough, because I only did the one playthrough, just in case you guys didn't know that. I did some backtracking, but I didn't 100% it. I didn't go for every achievement or anything like that. But I did play it enough to where I, had this great admiration for it, because the platforming and all of that had me thinking. Like, I remember sitting there looking at a room I just entered. This is the first game. I would assess the situation and figure out, okay, what do I have to do to get from point A to point B? That was mostly my experience with the first one. The second game, this one, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I'm entering a room and I'm more so assessing how I'm going to defeat these enemies, because the combat is a huge focus in Ori 2. It's got, new moves, new abilities, new skill tree, and the combat is more fleshed out to where you're using abilities to take out these enemies. You have stuff like a hammer, you have a spear, you have a fireball, you have your sword, of course, which feels great, by the way. It really feels impactful, like you're really hitting them, So I really appreciated that immediately. As soon as you feel that sword, it feels great. So just that alone, and mixed with the other abilities and how you got your double jump, you got your bash abilities. I mean, you're all over the place, especially when it comes to these boss fights. I mean, you're using the entire room to get around, use different abilities, pause in midair to change your abilities depending on what that boss is doing or that enemy's doing, and you're just changing it on the fly, just constantly thinking, what am I doing in the next 3 seconds? It's pretty incredible, and it's a great feel when it comes to defeating these enemies and bosses. It's satisfying, again, with that impact that the weapons, you can feel that impact. I think that really, really is a plus when it comes to the combat, and just a huge improvement compared to the first game. Because like I said, with the first game, to me, it was more so about the platforming, how to escape, because you're mostly running from bigger enemies. And you do that in this game too. The escape missions and sequences are so good. Challenging too. There was one that had me dying quite a few times, but it's a fun rush. It's like a rush of adrenaline trying to escape. So they do still have that in this game, but the boss fights, more fleshed out, more combat, more excitement, more dire situations where you're just hanging on and trying to get by. You already know I'm into that. I like that. And it could be frustrating. There were times, again, with the stream and everything, and sometimes I'm not thinking clearly or something, and then the frustration kind of hits. Those moments of frustration are nothing new for me. I feel like when it comes to platformers, I'm easily frustrated. But it's not a bad thing. I think just me having to use my brain and constantly be on it and be on the fly and changing my abilities, and it really gave me that satisfaction to get it done. I appreciated that in this game. The music, my gosh. The music, I didn't think it could get this much better, because the first one is amazing. If you guys get the chance, listen to the first soundtrack. But this one too, oh my gosh, so good. I felt like the music was just so appropriate in every area, the different aesthetic to different areas. The music just complemented it so well, and it transitioned so well from, the basic room of enemies to the boss fight, from the boss fight to the escape mission. I mean, that music was just spot on. The graphics, beautiful, as we expected. I played on my G-Sync monitor, and sometimes, especially when it came to the main boss, there were some jaggies in there. I'm not sure if it's like my monitor or what. I have a feeling it is. I messed with my settings and everything. It wasn't enough to be like, ugh, this looks horrible. It was like very small moments, but that was the only thing. Everything else was smooth, crisp, bright and colorful, just beautiful. A lot of the colors popped too, like the greens especially. I felt they really popped compared to the other colors, and it was just gorgeous to look at. I mean, Ori, we expected that because the first one's beautiful too. But to play through it again and with my new, computer settings and everything, my new monitor, it was a treat. It was a beautiful, beautiful game to experience. What else can I say, man? I talked about the escape missions, I talked about the bosses, the combat, the characters and how charming they were, how cute they were. Ori is a real one. I love Ori. I was talking to Ori the whole time, like, Ori, what are you doing? Ori, why? Why am I dying? What are you doing, Ori? It was just like a constant thing during my playthrough, but I really like the characters. I've always loved Ori since, the first one. I'm a huge fan. Is one of my favorites of the generation, of course. But I'm not so much the 100%er as I probably should be. But this game, I might go back. I might, check out a few things, backtrack a little bit. It is a Metroidvania after all, so you do get your abilities that you can use later on in the game. Obviously, you can go backtrack to areas you couldn't reach before, so that's always a satisfying thing. And I definitely felt that in this game. It was rewarding in that way. So yeah, if you're into Metroidvanias, it's a no-brainer. Play this game. If you're not so much and you're looking for a challenge, play this game. Try it. Check it out. If you're if you don't play a lot of challenging games, I think Ori could prove to be challenging for you, an extra step above. But hang in there, and if you gotta, do what you gotta do as far as changing the difficulty, play how you want to play. I played it on normal. Nothing wrong with that. Some people, they think playing on hard is the best way to go, but it's what you want to do. I always play on normal the first time. If I do go back a second time, I might switch it up. But yeah, there is the easy mode. So if you do want to do that, no shame. Just play the game. Give it a shot. It's a beautiful game to look at. It's a beautiful game to play. Besides those bugs, and I'm hoping those are patched by the time I'm even saying this. Hopefully right now things are getting better. But even so, I mean, as long as it's soon, fix those bugs. It'll be like a 10 out of 10 once those are fixed. But with all that, included, when I think about that stuff, it's not a perfect game. It can't be. So, I mean, if I had to score it, I'd probably give it like a 9, 8.59, because it's a gorgeous game. It's awesome to play, and the music, all of it, everything is just so well thought out, so well done. A lot of things made sense. When it comes to Metroidvanias, this genre in particular, I like to have great pacing to where I feel like I'm being rewarded for backtracking and all of that, but I don't want it to be so over the top. I felt Hollow Knight was over the top, where it got to the point where it was like, I'm spending way too much time with this specific thing or that specific thing. Ori just flows. There were like more than a few times where I said out loud, you know what? I need a double jump, or I feel like a double jump or something's coming soon. I'm probably going to swim soon or something like that. And sure enough, within maybe 5-10 minutes, it happened. And I was like, there you go. There it is. There's that pacing, and it's great. So whenever I have that kind of feeling and it's just flowing, like I'm expecting what's coming next, but still surprised and still into it, that's where I look at a platformer and a Metroidvania like, okay, they know what they're doing. They got this down. And this is amazing. So that's really what I was feeling most of the time in Ori. Of course, there were times I was, kind of held up. I was struggling a little bit, and that's my own fault. But but as far as the items and abilities and what I was getting next and what I was expecting next, it was on point. Just well thought out, on point. So kudos to Moon Studios. They know what they're doing over there. They really do. Ori is a fantastic, amazing game. Go play it. And thank you guys for listening and watching. I will catch you in my next video, all right? Until then, take care, and I will see you later.